Okay, so you can see behind me the stage is set, ready for this chap to take to very soon. Bill Ryder-Jones is with us. How you doing, mate?
I'm well, thanks.
It's a big tour. You've played a few dates around the country, and you're finishing now in your hometown, which must be fantastic.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's kind of not been structured like that intentionally, you know.
Yeah.
It was kind of Becky's tour, St Saviour's tour, and they asked us to come on kind of later on. So yeah, it was pretty great to think, oh, you know, at least that last day we can go out and have a bit of fun and kind of not have to get back in the van hungover, like, you know what I mean?
Will you be hungover tomorrow after this?
Well, I don't know. I don't tend to get hangovers. I'm quite sensible.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't really know what's going to happen. I'm sure I'm sure something will be happening, you know.
Yeah,
it's kind of a hard town not to find something happening. You know?
Tell me about the Scouse crowd that are going to be here. Is it more pressure when you're playing to your home crowd? Is it nice because Auntie Val's in the audience and the neighbours are? What's it like coming back home?
It can be odd, like it's great. I mean, it's great. I mean, like it's great because for obvious reasons, like people you love and people who you know get the chance to come, and my family don't come, which is great. What family I've got live out the way, so they like come to Glasgow or Manchester,
right,
and
okay.
you know. But yeah, it's one of them with Liverpool crowds. They can be like they're troublemakers, aren't they? You know, so like you never know if they're going to be like rotten drunk and like talk all the way through, which is all right as long as everyone's having a good time. But generally, yeah, I think like Liverpool and Manchester tend to be the ones I look forward to most. You know, definitely.
Brilliant. Let's talk about you, because what a career you've had, mate. You know, you're a jack of all trades. You're a singer-songwriter,
Isn't that me and the master of none? Is that what you're saying?
No, not at all. But you've done a lot of stuff in your career. Obviously, the choral. Do you look back on the choral days with happy memories?
Yeah, loads. Yeah, I think particularly as I get older and you get further away from all the like silly little things that bugged you at the time, and you see it for just what it was. And yeah, it was. I kind of reminisce quite often with like people about. Well, Joe, like Joe from By the Sea, who's playing keys for us on tour, he was in like Little Flames and Rascals when we were all, you know, like. So we've been like on this tour, kind of been sharing like stories of stealing from services, and you know, Alan sending us on full tours in a transit van, 6 lads in the back with all the gear, you know, like really seems to be a million years away. They're just them 10 years, 10, 15 years, like the differences in how it's operated and how it's run. But yeah, I do. I really look back on it fondly. I don't think about it a lot, like, but it's nice when it pops up, you know. You go, wow, how weird, you know.
They're still very highly thought of in the city. The choral as a band, you know, it was great for Liverpool at the time because you guys were getting out there spreading that Liverpool message, you know.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Well, I think what was good for the city was Delta Sonic setting up. That gave lots of bands from the city a chance to have a go, you know.
Brilliant. Let's talk about you and obviously finishing, coming singer-songwriter yourself. Is that a hard move to do once you've been kind of comfortable in a band like that? And was that tough going out on your own? Initial.
You know what? It's not even. I don't even know if it's. I think the hardest bit for me was to actually thinking I could do it, like getting past my own thoughts on it. So like 2 people who had said that your songs are good was Alan from Delta Sonic, and Lawrence Bell, who's the boss of Domino, who's now to me what Alan was when I was a teenager. And they were the 2 people who were like, oh no, your songs are really good. You should write songs. You should write some more songs. And I never thought about it. I always thought of myself as someone who just kind of had a bit of a musical idea and could kind of like chip into someone else's thing. And I wrote a couple of songs here and there, and those 2 people were just at different times were like, no, this is really good, you stick at this. And then kind of, so I got signed to Domino off the back of some songs that Lawrence liked, and kind of that was the idea, was to make a record, and then I kind of panicked about it, so we made If, which was a good way of like, little bit of vocal on it, but could still kind of hide behind everything else. And then I guess by the time the album had come out, and it, you know, like relatively to where I am, it was quite, you know, it's well received. That's how I'd put it.
No, it has been.
You know, and by that point I was kind of like, Well, I believe in myself now. I know that, like, I believe in the songs, and that whether I can perform it was the next questions. Whether, like, one, will my nerves hold out, and two, will I enjoy it enough to do it more than once, and three, can I actually, like, sing well in public, given, you know, the anxieties and things. And yeah, just kind of thankfully we did that first gig in Manchester, like maybe like a year, 2 years ago. It's a tiny room, like eighth the size of this, and it was fine, you know. And after that, it was all right. Yeah.
Do you know, tonight, like looking at this, you know, my nerves would be gone doing something like this. Do you still struggle with that, or is there anything you do beforehand to get over that, or do you just kind of suck it and see and get on with it?
Yeah, I think it's kind of a bit of all those things, you know. Like more often than not, I mean, I do always get nervous. My guts are always in a state like I find it hard to eat, and I'm always like there beforehand. Like sometimes, like if I'm feeling like the nerves are getting too much, I'll probably like go and sit on my own for a bit and just, you know, try and collect. But tonight, no, I'm not really bothered tonight, because I know there's going to be enough people here who like have bought the album, and it, you know, it's. I think maybe on the tour there was a couple of shows that were clearly like, because Becky sells more tickets I think than I do. So there was a couple of shows where like I could sense that it wasn't people, you know, I think a crowd know me as the guy who produced the record, but might not have been familiar. That can be a bit dodgy, you know, because you go and it's just that thing, like if that smattering of applause after a song can be quite disheartening.
Yeah.
But you know, if
you want to hear a lot of noise, you want to know that it's been received well.
Yeah, I think for me actually, it's that can be a bit embarrassing, the smattering. But actually, what I say and what I've said, you know, to the lads is that the way you judge it is how quiet they are during the songs, you know. Because if people aren't loving the tunes, you can't expect them to.
Yeah.
And if they don't love it, that's totally cool, no problem, you know. But if you like don't love it, so you're like, we'll have a, you know, let's talk and stuff like that, then that's just rude. And that's when you know
I
that.
think that's rude. I think that's
yeah,
very
it's
rude,
terrible. Well,
no matter where you are, what gig you're at, I think it is rude.
The thing is, I don't like. It's a hard one because I don't mind like if people do that. Like if they've bought a ticket, they can come in the room and do what they want. That's fine for them. But it's only that there will be people in any gig who just want silence, just want to hear it, and they've also paid their money. You know what I mean? So they can't have their night ruined by the gobshites. But what are you going to do? People like a drink at a gig, don't they? And then they like want to say to their mates, "This is boss," or they might just go for it. But what are you going to do? You know.
So third album, last album was beautiful. It's done really well. Third album, how are you putting that together? How's that working?
Well, it's been strange. We did 2 days in Park Street up the road with Chris Taylor, who's the sound engineer for tonight. He's been tour managing us, and James Ford, who's a really great producer. And it was all good. You Sean Payne from the Zootons and the big kids played on the Lightning Seed. You know, he played on all the drums. It was just me and him. And the tracks sounded great. Songwriting probably, that was something that I focused more on, like making something that sounded a certain way, and maybe spent more time on that than actually sitting at home writing good songs that have good melodies and good words. Actually, the words were really good, but like it was just the songs weren't. I just could do better, you know.
Yeah.
So we spent a bit of money doing that, and then like, I kind of said to the label, I don't really want to release any of this, you know. It's like 15 songs. And they've been dead sound about it. They were like, maybe we can do something with it in the future, but if you want to do it another way, do it another way. So
it's good that you've got that, I wouldn't say power, but you know, you can do that and you can go to them and say, listen, this isn't happening.
I don't know how. I don't know why or how, because they've got me by them. Like do
they give you a time and a date where they say this has got to be ready on this date?
Not really, no.
So
They're incredibly supportive. I think if I messed about,
Yeah.
it would be more a case of Lawrence, who's like one of my best friends, would go, you know, can we talk about when this is going to be ready? But generally they just kind of leave me to it, you know, let me get on with it. And with this, like I've said now, like I want to go back and make this record in quite a similar way to the last one. I want to do a lot of it at home, and then I'll probably take a lot of it to Park Street and just kind of raise it slightly, so it's not quite so bedroomy. But yeah, I've got eight. I've got about 30 tunes written from this year, but I've got like 8 or 9 that I think are a good record, bulk of a record.
So when you hear one of them, do you know straight away that's on the album?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
weeks and weeks of mulling over in your mind what you're going to put in.
This and that, you know. I think what I realised was good about the last record is I wrote it kind of in sequence. Like I had Bad Wind and Hanging Song, and then I just started, and then I had 5, and then I started going, well, that would be good first, and then what do I need second? And oh, I've got this old thing, and I could do it like this, and that's what that's where I'm back at now. I think I've got a few songs. I'm going to play 3 new songs tonight, that are definitely going to be on it.
And one's about Liverpool, isn't it? About a certain area of Liverpool.
Yeah, Catherine Street.
So why does that mean so much to you?
Well, it doesn't mean anything more than kind of anything, really. I mean, like I love the city. That part of the city I really do like. Spent quite a bit of time there last summer hanging out. Got some friends who live there. Used to crash on a few couches there, you know.
So why not write a song about it?
Yeah, and you know, it is quite a pretty place. I like the way, you know, the way when it's sunny. You know, when it's sunny at that part of town, you know, in the early hours, it's quite special. No more than like the sunset at West Kirby, where I'm from. That's like, or the beach. You know, that's just as important to me. But it's just, I think, what you've got to do as a songwriter, or what I have to do as a songwriter, is write about what is actually happening. You know what I mean? That's when the songs are good, because they're about, you're not trying to be clever and just say, oh, this is happening, and like, or read a book and go, well, that's a good point he's made, I'll write a song about it. It's about like what's happening in your life. That's why people relate. Well, I think that's why people will relate, because they kind of do the same as everyone else, but we go out and drink a bit too much and regret it, and have people in my life who are complicated and people who aren't, and you know what I mean?
That's what it is.
It's just normal stuff, you know, and it's about doing it in a way that is endearing and lets people in, I think, you know. So that's why Catherine and Huskerson, just brilliant. I like them streets, man. Pretty.
Well, enjoy tonight.
Thank you very much.
Christmas, is that a big thing for you? Just one last question. This is going on Christmas Day, you see.
Right.
So we've got to talk Christmas. Are you a lover of Christmas? Do you like it?
I'm coming round to Christmas. Like,
would you ever do a Christmas song?
Don't think so. I mean, I don't know. Never, you know what, really never crossed my mind. I produced one for Lost Brothers.
Yeah.
That were good. No, I don't know. I could maybe like imagine it seeping in imagery at some point, but like nothing special, you know. I don't really release singles, you know. But Christmas, I do like it. Yeah, I spent. My parents don't really do Christmas all that much. Right. So I probably won't see them. I'll go to my aunties. Hang out with them. I'm vegetarian.
Oh, right,
so
okay.
It's, yeah, it's all boring for me. Beans on toast again.
Well, listen, good chatting, mate. Enjoy tonight. And thanks
much
for chatting to us on Bay TV.
Pleasure.
Bill Ryder-Jones, thank you.